Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Neil Haley Show. I can't believe it's been another month. All great shows. I hope you guys got to check me out at Total Tutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook, LinkedIn, Neil Haley, Instagram, Total Tutor, Pinterest, Neil Haley, and Google Plus, and also on Periscope at Total Tutor. And you got to remember now, why am I not mentioning my website? Because I'm building a new website for radio and television. Stay tuned. Hopefully, it will be the next time in the studio, update you with all those different things. But just follow me in social media. I'm always here. But I got someone in the hot seat who's been my co-host for, I guess, I've lost track, more than 4 or 5 months. We've interviewed so many amazing people. So I want to welcome the program again to the studio, WPIAL Hall of Famer,
Yes.
UNLV Run and Rev,
Yes.
Coach Karen Hall.
Yes.
Coach, thank you again for dropping by.
Always good to be in the studio with you, Neil.
Yes.
Always good to be here.
And I love the co-hosting thing and the whole deal. It's very nice. But let's focus now, Karen, in 2 areas. Next month, you won't be in the studio because of March Madness.
Yes.
Something that I kind of knew about, but really didn't know about, is you are involved with the women's NCAA, or the women's NCAA tournament. Mm-hmm. How did you get involved with that?
Okay. Well, I've coached, seasoned coach, head women's basketball coach at the collegiate level. And throughout my coaching career, I've never really thought about tournament/championship operations. My final year at North Carolina A&T State University in Greensboro, North Carolina, I sort of fell into the championship realm. Right. And my first year, I worked the Atlantic Coast Conference tournament, the women's basketball championship in Greensboro. And I was doing their Fan Fest. Okay. So basically, it's like the big arcade in the convention center, the kids, the parents, a lot of shooting, a lot of basketball. Right. And didn't really get to have hands-on operations on the court that year. So it really worked out, and I thought, okay, that wasn't bad. Mm-hmm. It keeps you around the game. Obviously, they got wind, and Karen Hall did pretty well for us. So she brought me back. The commissioner, who was Bernadette McGlade at the time, she brought me back for the next 7 years to work the Atlantic Coast Conference Women's Basketball Championships. So I elevated myself from just the convention center, Fan Fest operations to the actual court, to the actual game operations of the championship. Yeah, very exciting. I was no longer coaching at North Carolina A&T. Right. So now I'm doing championship operations, a whole different side of athletics that I didn't know. Right. As a player, you go to tournaments, all you do want to get on the court, let's play. Right. Nothing was happening around it. However, I was now, I guess you could say, monitoring and supervising the floor, like the floor manager for the team. So with practices, whether they were open or closed, I was responsible for making sure that everything was set, of floor taken care of, backboards.
All the coordination.
Yeah, all the coordination, and even down to the nets being fresh and new.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so who thinks about that when you show up to a tournament?
So how did you get, you're getting the experience of running a Fan Fest to the ACC tournament, and basically how many people are you responsible for? You're responsible with all the teams, you're responsible for the concession, everything that's involved with the whole pro. So kind of explain that. So how did you figure out and develop those logistics from being a head coach and a teacher to being responsible for so many things? So what year did you first start with the ACC?
So the ACC was 2002.
Okay.
My last year at A&T. So right after A&T, I transitioned right into the ACC championship operations for the tournament. Okay. So basically, it was a good transition. Right. You're managing players and a staff as a head coach to transitioning into a floor supervisor for a conference championship. Okay. So now I'm responsible, as you said, all the teams, the head coaches, the table management, were the scorekeeper, all those gentlemen. And I am now working with the facilities people. Okay. So I got the court, the facilities people. Now I'm really working really working on the communication skills and the management skills and being able to delegate, because I had someone working with me. So sort of like my assistant, if I can put it in coaching terms, to where, making sure the locker rooms were taken care of down to, listen, very detailed, down to the game rundown, like the game day rundown. My gosh. What time the clock will start, what time the teams can get on the floor. Too. Not the media.
Not the.
I wasn't media. It's just all court game management.
Court game management.
So from the time that the teams walked in to the arena, that was my job.
Okay.
Were the locker rooms clean and ready to go? Do they have enough chalk for the coaches? Are the clocks in the locker rooms working correctly?
Okay.
On the court, do we have, very detailed, do we have enough seats for all the game and team personnel? Well, not only them, but their travel party. So some of their associate athletic directors travel with them and will sit on the bench. Of course, their trainers. But being a head coach, I knew the most important part to a head coach is making sure that floor was taken care of.
Right.
What time can we get on the floor? And honestly, it's so detailed. I keep saying that because the minute a player touches a ball, the clock starts.
Oh my.
So as a head coach, you're coming into practice. This is practice and game day.
Right.
So you're coming into practice as a head coach with your practice plan.
Right.
Knowing, because this tournament, no advantage for any team, that you have 20 minutes, or if it's shoot around, maybe 10 minutes to execute your plan. But if a player, say probably a freshman, doesn't know, and they come out on the court, because that's what we're used to, come out on the court, get the ball, start shooting around.
Right.
But the minute they do that in tournament time, the clock starts, which could mean that the rest of the team is not on the court. The coaches aren't ready to bring the team together. But what you're doing, you're losing that game management time as the coach. So everything's ready for you.
So you want everything to be lined up so that you knew as a head coach that you had to do that.
Yeah.
You knew that as a head coach that's how it was pretty much
That's
working.
the important part. And as a former player, as a head coach, I was the person who, maybe if the kid was a freshman or seniors, kids get silly. If they came down to the court and was coming towards the basketballs, don't touch the balls yet. I will tell them that. Because if not, the coach's game plan, it's out the window. Now it's a rush. And this is possibly pregame warm or a shoot-around. Towards your last shoot-around before the game that afternoon or that evening. So it's a very important time. So making sure that the court is ready and that the balls are ready. And that the clock starts and you get the sufficient time that you're designated. It's down to the second. If you're
you're letting them know at the time when they need to go onto the floor. So say, okay, here's your shoot around. Okay, the shoot around's the warm up's over. You gotta go back to your locker rooms. Now it's time to come back out. So how many people were working for you while you're trying to manage
it was just myself and another person.
That's it?
That's it. It's very simple, but it's systematic.
So the preparation time is
the preparation time it happens before everyone gets there. So you're showing up at the arena about 7, 8 o'clock a.m. So you're literally one of the first people in the arena. Lights may still be down, and my thought is, it's like game preparation for me. Okay, first thing I do, make sure the lights are on and locker rooms are unlocked.
Exactly.
It is, and it's funny, as I said, as a player, you just show up to the gym, you just want to play. You don't have any idea what's happening behind the scenes. It's like all these pieces. So you have my piece as floor manager. Then you have the piece of the media.
Yeah.
Then you have the piece of the trainers.
Exactly.
It's this big operation.
But just two people? What things could go wrong?
Oh, no, because you have facility people that you're working with.
So you have those
people. I'm on radio. So say, for example, if I get there and the courts aren't swept down and,
you have people working for you then.
Yeah, I'm on the mic. So I have people accessible to me.
At the arena.
Exactly. This is what they do. So they do event management. So for the tournament, it's a week long.
Right.
And they've been doing this for a very long time. So, but if I need something, I have everyone's number accessible to me.
But what about the fans? No, are you responsible for the arena, when they enter and then when they, because people like to get there early and start to get into their seats early and things like that. Are you watching to make sure that the fans are on the right behavior, but also the fact that they're not arriving too early or staying too late after the tournament's over?
So what I'll do is I'm taking you through the Atlantic Coast Conference, the ACC tournament that I worked. But I've been elevated. I've been doing championship operations for probably 12, 15 years.
Okay, so now you left ACC.
Well, I was still doing it because the tournaments go conference tournaments.
Oh, so you
got
still do
all
the
the
ACC?
conference tournaments. I do the Atlantic 10 now.
Atlantic 10, okay.
I do the conference tournaments. It's a stage to it. So March Madness is madness for a reason. You have all the regular season ends.
Right.
So all the teams in the various conferences, they go to conference tournament. That's a week long no matter what. Mountain West Conference, West Coast Athletic Conference, all over the country. After conference tournament, you now start with the NCAA tournament.
Right.
But you have the first round, you have the second round, you have the quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the finals.
Yeah.
So it's literally March Madness. From March 2nd all the way through like April 4th, that is the madness. The madness happens.
So how did you elevate yourself from just ACC to the...
Because I guess I was pretty good.
Well, it seems like you have everything organized and ready to go, especially when you book guests for me. She has everything rolling and ready to go, so it's not a surprise. I get text messages, and I'm like, here are your guests, Neil. I said, hey, I like this. If everyone knew my schedule this morning, I interviewed Mark Malkin from E! News about the Oscars. So I don't have the time, the detail to know who's coming next, or tomorrow, or next week I have somebody from Bar Rescue on, and all these different shows, and I don't have the time or effort. And now I have people like Coach Karen Hall and Joseph, my booker, and Dee Dee Rittman to take care of everything for me. It's nice, but I just can't imagine. She's just so organized. The texts are there, so they found out you were detailed. And not everybody that's run this before are detailed. So you kind of replace somebody from ACC. Yeah. So tell the story. You're doing the ACC for 7 years, then you get a phone call, right?
Then the commissioner of the ACC, she gets elevated to the Atlantic 10 commissioner. So it's kind of like the coach. It's really a mirror of coaching. So, for example, as an ACC commissioner, I'm like her assistant because she brought me along. So coaches who go from maybe a mid-level to a high level major.
So why would Atlantic 10 be a bigger jump than ACC?
Because she was actually the associate commissioner.
Oh, so
she was the associate commissioner.
You were head responsible of the ACC tournament. But she took you with you to the Atlantic 10.
Yeah, because she elevated. She went from associate commissioner. So John Swafford is still the commissioner of the ACC. Mm-hmm. Okay, she was right underneath him as the associate commissioner, not yet the woman.
Right.
So she became the woman as commissioner of the entire Atlantic 10 conference. That means all the sports, all the coaches. Like she is the one. So because I did a great job for her at the ACC in terms of the championship tournaments, she goes, listen, I want you coming with us when we start the A10 tournament. So I've done the ACC women. Right. I've done the Atlantic 10 women, which I will do starting next week.
And then when we get back, we're going to find out what more we're going to. Wow. Yeah. This is amazing. I thought, she was working for the tournament, not running the arena. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. And she doesn't tell me any of the stuff when we taught at St. Agnes. And I don't know if she knew all about me at all either. And then she somehow looked me up and said, well, doesn't he have a little radio show over at WRCT? No. It's more than that. All right, so we get back. More Neil Haley Show. You're watching the Neil Haley Show and also listening to the Total Celebrity Show. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, we are the varsity cheerleaders at Bethel Park High School, and we have a special invitation for you.
We would like you to join us for the Bethel Park Cheerleaders and Boosters 26th Annual Spring Fashion Show that benefits Special Olympics Allegheny County.
This year's Starry Night theme show will be held on Sunday, April 3rd, 2016 at Independence Middle School's auditorium. The doors will open at noon.
Tickets are $5 for adults and $3 for students. Due to the incredible support of the community for this annual event, all organizers and participants are volunteers, enabling all proceeds to go directly to this very worthwhile charity.
Last year, the fashion show culminated in a donation of more than $8,000, raising the BPCBA's total donation from the past 2 decades to more than $177,100.
Your support on behalf of this very important cause will help to raise money to enrich the lives of Special Olympic athletes throughout Allegheny County.
Through your support, these very special athletes will be given opportunities to train in 14 different sports and compete in 22 tournaments throughout the year. Each year, we invite an ambassador to participate in this exciting charitable event. This year, we have 2 special guests.
We are pleased to introduce our 2016 Special Olympic athletes. Here is Andy and Ellie. Both Andy and Ellie live in Bethel Park and are a part of our community and schools.
There is a wonderful afternoon planned with fashions and many local retailers. Please come to our fashion show and watch us. Please support Special Olympics of Allegheny County and my fellow athletes.
There's also a fabulous basket auction and light refreshments. Our primary source of fundraising comes from the basket auction segment of the show, where the baskets are comprised of items donated by local businesses.
We hope to see you at the 26th Annual Bethel Park Cheerleaders and Boosters Fashion Show benefiting Special Olympics Allegheny County on Sunday, April 3rd, commencing at 1 p.m. at Independence Middle School. For tickets, please see any Bethel Park cheerleader or call 412-292-4013.
Please support Special Olympics.
Come see us. Go Hawks!
We're back, and it's very interesting when look at it. You can check me out at Total Tutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook, LinkedIn, Neil Haley, Instagram, Total Tutor, Pinterest, Neil Haley, Google Plus, and also Periscope at Total Tutor. I got to do some Periscoping. I haven't. I got to make that a part of my daily routine. See, I need coordinators, but we're with Coach Karen Hall, WPIAL Hall of Famer, UNLV running rep, and much, much more, especially coordinating all the basketball tournament operations in the arena level, going from ACC to the Atlantic 10. I would look at it when your friend became the commissioner and went to ACC as not even a lateral move, but a little bit of a lower move, because you'd look at the ACC bigger than the Atlantic 10. Am I wrong?
I think you're a little wrong there, because
ACC, who's the best team in the ACC usually every year? And it goes, how far do they usually go? Elite Eight. Sometimes they get a Final Four.
Oh, no. You've had 2 NCAA champions coming out of the ACC.
Okay,
you had University of North Carolina and University of Maryland.
What about the Atlantic 10?
So you have, right now, because she's been commissioner for about 5 years now there. So she has George Washington coming out there and the University of Dayton. Those have been the top 2. And locally this year, Duquesne has blasted through the Atlantic 10. They're on their way to maybe their first 25-plus record.
And that's disappointing for Pitt fans for women basketball, because what happened? What happened to the expectations? And they're not happening. And Duquesne, how? But we can talk about it another time.
Okay.
Especially we can get some NCAA. You said you're not going to do any radio. Yes, you're going to do a couple. Yeah. You're going to be sideline reporting from the NCAA women's basketball tournament to tell us what's going on with some of these teams. So let's take us to the tour. But you said, but none of those teams, what is the highest they've gone? George Washington.
I want to clarify, because
Sweet 16. See, I'm just saying you go from ACC to Atlantic 10. If I was making that choice, I'd say, oh, you're going to a lower conference.
Well, okay, so the conference maybe, but it's sort of like the coaching. So if you're coaching at a mid-major as an assistant.
So you were only the assistant of the coordinating of running the tournament.
Right. So, but the commissioner, she was the associate commissioner.
No, she's going to a higher move.
Yeah.
What about you? You're doing the same thing, going to the.
Oh yeah, but I'm following someone who can help propel.
Oh yeah. See, but that again could be something that could concern you.
No, not at all. Because I know under her watch, I know where I am.
She's highly connected. So
absolutely.
So going from ACC, where there's no real big. I guess you can't run into as many people as you run in the ACC as the Atlantic 10, because you're looking at where's the tournament every year?
It's in which tournament?
Atlantic 10.
It's in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay, Richmond, Virginia. So you're closer. You're not far from DC. But I'm just still trying to figure out how you jump from ACC, the Atlantic 10, to the NCAA.
Yeah, it's very simple. I mean, honestly, it's like anything else. When you do a good job for someone, they want to keep you around.
That's
right?
true.
So I understand the ACC. I get that.
Right.
But I'm also looking at the connecting of who I'm connected to.
Okay.
And to me, that's important because I've gone from ACC to Atlantic 10.
Right.
And remember, these are week long. This isn't yearly. This is week long.
Right.
So from the A10, I've been able to, and probably my UNLV connection, work the Mountain West Conference. These are weekly championship operation tournament time positions.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't work with the conference year round. You follow?
Okay.
So I'm not a year round ACC staffer. I'm not a year round ACC staffer or Atlantic 10.
Okay.
Like I don't work in the conference.
Okay.
So it's kind of like you can say I'm a consultant hired as a consultant.
Mm-hmm.
But as a championship consultant, I'm pretty good at coordinating, organizing, and the efficiency because everything is time.
Yes.
Okay, so when you develop a reputation like yourself, you're very good at what you do. You elevated yourself from little RCC radio to here we are in the studio television 6 years later.
Yes.
So you understand it's the same way. So the word is out. That, Karen Hall, she has all this coaching background, playing background. Now she's been able to really find her way in this championship work.
Exactly.
So I've been able to work for the Mountain West Conference.
Okay.
That was a men's and women's basketball tournament at UNLV.
So you want.
And they fly you out, like they take care of you. You become a part of their.
So you could do two. How is that? The
because
tournaments take place different times.
Exactly. So this next week, the Atlantic 10 conference, the Atlantic 10 and the ACC and several other conferences tip off next week. Then the following week, the Mountain West Conference tips off next Wednesday. The following Wednesday.
Is that because of TV? Because again, you have to kind of coordinate with the men's schedule and get national coverage.
Yeah, and it's also like you're talking about West Coast, East Coast, and the
But they do
scheduling.
that different. But they do that. The Mountain West is earlier in the men's, isn't it? The Mountain West and then the ACC's later.
No, the Mountain West is after the Atlantic. The ACC, Atlantic, and Atlantic 10 men are the same week as the Mountain West men, because the Mountain West men's basketball and women's basketball tournament is the same week at the same location. Okay. So it's like double headers. The games are double headers.
The way they're scheduled, it just works out that you can hit both tournaments.
Yeah, because if I get to actually decide, honestly, where I want to work. So I've decided I'll do Atlantic 10 because they called me early. And now the Mountain West, I got to look at the schedule. Who's overlapping? Which conference is overlapping?
Because a lot of the conferences are at the same time.
Absolutely. So I can't do all of them.
Right.
So the Mountain West, the connection to me is I get to go back to Las Vegas.
Right.
And
so that's where the championship is.
That's where the conference championship is, at UNLV. At the same time out west, you have the West Coast Conference Championship Tournament that's held on the Strip at the New Orleans Hotel. So they've built, and the West Coast Athletic Conference is at the
So by
Mirage.
doing two tournaments, that propelled you. Oh, you're organizing things so well. Let's go to the next level.
But I get to do different areas. So Atlantic 10, I'm doing operations on the floor. The Mountain West, I get to do media.
Oh, so you do media?
Yeah. So I do the press conferences. I can do several things.
So tell us how you can coordinate those press conferences.
Yeah, so basically the sports information officers of each team, like they'll have the losing team come in first.
Right.
And then, so the team chooses which player, which coach. So I could moderate the press conference. And, that's pretty fun because you really get to control questions.
So you said next question. You did that.
I did that. Yeah, that was really exciting. Or I was the timer. So now I'm timing the press conferences so we can get the losing team out, winning teams on deck. Let's go. Okay? That's Mountain West. Let me take you further.
Okay.
This championship is intense. I don't think people realize because you just watch it, how much goes into it. So I've also the Women's National Invitational Tournament. Okay. Otherwise called the WNIT. The men have the NIT, the women have the WNIT.
Yes. That's before the NCAA.
That is for those teams that did the 64 teams that did not make it.
But it's before the NCAA, a couple days before.
after selection, kind of like it's going on simultaneously.
Yeah.
First round goes on, then the next week WNIT
So
can start.
how'd you hook up the WNIT?
A former coach friend of mine played like WBDL and met, one of the conference commissioners of the WNIT, and she knew I did championships. Okay. The connection. The basketball is all about the circle.
Right, exactly. That's the way I kind of get my celebrity interviews is from the next big one.
Yes.
Talking to somebody and saying, wow, I could get this person next.
Exactly.
I could get this next person. Like I'm working right now on Linda McMahon. That's the wife of Vince McMahon.
Wow.
I've worked for Vince once doing WWF TV, which I guess we always have to call it WWE, even though it wasn't WWE when I wrestled there. And then now I have Linda McMahon, but I had to show my resume at different people to do it. Same thing comes with social media. When I have success in social media or tutoring, the next big client comes, the next big, because you've done something. So your reputation is speaking volumes.
Yes.
So WNIT comes.
I am the
supervisor.
I am supervising. Like I get the phone call to go to Penn State to supervise the game. Everything is my responsibility.
Okay.
So anything that goes on with the WNIT, like the Penn State sporting officials, they'll come to me and say, we're having this issue. How would you like us to proceed? Because I'm representative of the WNIT. The WNIT offices are in Colorado. So there's WNIT site supervisors all around the country. I happen to be one of them.
So a question I have to ask you is, why am I not, I guess, getting any of the top women's coaches then if you're connected to everyone in all these places?
It's what you want. Tell me who you want, what you want. I did.
I want Gino.
I did disclose that to you. Let's let him win a championship first.
Okay, well, let him win.
His 11th championship.
But so in the off season of women's basketball, you have pretty much a different situation than now. Yes,
we can get coaches, Division I coaches. We can get NCAA officials. It is who you want. The beauty of my athletic career is that not only have I played,
and ADs too.
Not only have I coached, but I've done championship tournaments. I've met senior associate athletes, like all these different types of people in positions that now they could be on our radio show. Wow. Locally, we could have some of them come into the studio. It's what we want.
Okay, so WNIT, this is going to be we're going to have part 2 next week because I've already made that decision. Because I said, we'll talk about something else, but this a half hour.
I didn't even get to NCAA. I told you I was working my way to the NCAA.
We have 50,000 different stories, but if you want to be connected to Coach Karen Hall, especially with her training, do you think if you're a girls basketball player right now, you wouldn't want Karen Hall to train you? Because I'm just saying that before the show's over. Because she can pick up the phone and call all these people. Yeah. Unbelievable connection. Yeah. So next week will be part 2. And I'll still have the cough. It's been a 4-week cough. Isn't that just great? But I just keep on going. And I have little tickles now. But so be it. You can check me out again at Total Tutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook. LinkedIn, Neil Haley, Instagram, Total Tutor, Pinterest, Neil and Google+. And part 2 next week of Coach Karen Hall. And Coach, I'm just interested to know, you've been throwing all this information out here, and I had no idea. And now we're seeing that. It's interesting, it's not a full-time gig for you just doing that stuff, but that's great experience for, I guess, your next journey, which we'll be talking about. Right, that journey for sure. And we've not, have you come up with your Twitter handle yet? So that we can be promoting.
We'll have to make it creative. I have to come up with something very creative and catchy.
Coach Karen Hall would be cool?
Add the number 32.
At number 32, I'm sure. So we'll just say you can follow her at Coach Karen Hall, the number 32. Take care, guys. We'll see you next week.